Welcome to Stories Without Borders, the podcast. I'm your host, Hollyn. Here we interview people who use the power of stories in service to promote connection, empathy, and understanding around the world. You can learn more online at storieswithoutborders.org or follow us on Instagram and YouTube at stories_without-borders. Thanks for listening. Here's today's episode. Today, we are speaking with actress, activist, and storyteller Estefanía Rebellón. Estefanía is the co-founder and executive director of Yes We Can World Foundation, an award-winning nonprofit organization focused on nurturing Latina excellence through education, culture, and narrative change. Yes We Can operates the Yes We Can Mobile Schools program, which provides education and mental health resources to migrant and refugee children at family shelters along the U.S.-Mexico border. Estefanía was a refugee from Cali, Colombia, whose life was changed forever at the age of 10 when she and her family were forced to flee their home. They were granted political asylum in Miami, Florida. Estefanía later set out to pursue a career as an actress in Hollywood. Among many other credits, Estefanía starred in and co-directed the film On the Other Side. Estefanía is also the first Colombian woman to receive the Outstanding American by Choice Award recognized by the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services in 2022. In 2023, Estefanía was named a CNN hero and a L'Oreal Woman of Worth. So welcome, Estefanía. I'm so happy to have you on this podcast.
Hey, Hollyn, thank you so much for hosting me. It's an honor to be here at the Stories Without Borders podcast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to introduce you to our audience. As some of them may know if they follow us on our Instagram, Stories Without Borders, our first service project, was actually a collaboration with your incredible organization. So having you on this podcast is such an honor. I've already covered a little bit of your biographical information in the introduction. I would love for you to tell our listeners a little bit more about your own immigrant experience and what motivated you to create Yes We Can World Foundation.
Absolutely. Well, it's an honor to be here as well. I'm so proud of you and for
Thank you.
expanding your organization and now building this platform. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
that.
so much.
So my family moved to Miami. We had to leave our home country of Colombia because unfortunately my dad was targeted. He'd received death threats, which is something that nobody should go through. At the time, I was just a kid. I was going into sixth grade, and it was a very, transitional period,
bet.
especially for a girl. So it was a lot for me. I arrived in Miami and had to learn English, had to adapt, had to learn to co-live with other kids from other countries. I had never met anyone from anywhere else than where I'm from, Cali. So that was a struggle and a transition. And, my lived experience is what connected me to this issue.
Right.
I moved to LA for acting, and I didn't realize that LA was so close to the US-Mexico border until the 2018 crisis broke out. It was thousands of families coming up to the border and being stranded there because the political asylum policies had changed, and that made for these families to have to stay in family shelters on the Mexico side. So when this happened and I was able to go just as a volunteer, just like you guys came to our schools to volunteer, from that moment on, I was very moved by what I was seeing and shocked actually to see that children weren't being taken care of. And that's where the idea sparked. And I knew that for me, education and safe spaces were so critical when I moved to the United States. So I wanted to build that for other kids. And here we are, 6 years in, having built multiple programs.
That's incredible. And just I'm curious. So when you said when you came to the United States, you had to learn English, so you
Yeah.
knew nothing. You learned.
I knew a little bit of basic words. My school in Colombia had taught us something like the ABC or colors or
Mhm.
fruits, which are a great introduction, but they're not enough to be able to establish a conversation. I was very lucky that my family went to Miami because Miami is a very unique microorganism in the United States where there's a lot of Latinos. A lot of the teachers are bilingual. So you are coming into a more welcoming environment. So I was able to start school halfway through the year and started learning English. But I remember being that child that didn't want to speak up, that didn't want to be called out to read because I didn't want to mess up my pronunciation. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I had a few pronunciation words that were always a struggle.
Hmm.
And yeah, it took me about 2.5 years to learn to speak English. I was part of the ESOL program, which is the program where a lot of immigrant children go
Hmm.
through to learn the language. And once I was out of that program, I was still very shy. And that's part of, the a lot of the experiences that immigrant children go through. That, you come from a very warm environment where you know everybody and you have friends and you know your teachers, and then you're literally moved to another place
Right.
where you know nobody. So a lot of kids become shy, become very aware of their culture and their background and start hiding those things. And I feel that that's a very common experience that people go through.
Yeah, and I just want to expand a little bit on that. How do you ensure at Yes We Can that these kids don't hide that part of themselves, that they're proud to be Latino, to be Hispanic, and show their culture?
We do that through our curriculum. We have a specific class that we created called the Migrant Process, and it's fully dedicated to building the kids' confidence to be able to own their heritage and to be able to be proud of who they are, where they come from, to also learn about it because a lot of kids that are coming into our programs, they may not be aware of specific things of even their own countries, right? So we
Hmm.
try to teach them like, hey, these are the highlights of your country. So when you meet somebody in the United States and you're the new kid in the classroom and somebody's like, hey, are you from Honduras? Then you can say like, yeah, I'm from Honduras. Did you know that my country has beaches, has volcanoes, has a great tourism? Like, have you visited? Instead of being asked about negative things like, oh yeah, I know Honduras is really dangerous. Sure, that's a piece of the story, but another
Right.
part of the story is that it's a beautiful country that you can visit. So we try to arm them with those tools.
That's incredible. And it's great that, the kids have these tools because a lot of times I feel like these countries can be very stigmatized where it's, oh, you're from Honduras, like you're from Ecuador, like, are you okay? Are you safe? Is your family safe? And I think it's really important that they have those tools. So once again, incredible work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And before you started Yes We Can, you were primarily focused in the entertainment industry and you've worn many hats in Hollywood. You've acted, you've produced, you've written and directed. What inspired you to pursue this career path originally, and what have been some of the challenges, and what did you learn along the way?
That is a big question. Uh, so I moved out to LA. I started acting in Miami, and I outgrew Miami because a lot of the work opportunities were in Spanish media only, mostly at that time. This is 2010, 2011. So I knew that I wanted to move to LA, and I did. And once I started auditioning in the industry, I realized very quickly that there was a lot of stereotypes set out for women and also for Latina women.
Oh,
And
100%.
I became slowly frustrated with the things that I was being put out for, especially because I had uh, just a different goal for how I wanted to be portrayed and the
Totally.
opportunities that I'm looking for. So at that same time that I was pursuing that career, the United States had gone through the first Trump administration, and this is when the Women's March became a movement. This is when Me Too became a movement. And I started being interested in activism because I felt that that was the place where my integrity aligned and where I felt valued. And that's why I started moving away a bit from entertainment,
Hmm.
and I participated in the Women's March. I helped to host two of the Me Too marches here in Los
Awesome.
Angeles.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And through that experience, I realized that these marches were great to ignite action. However, if there's no follow through, it just kind of the momentum doesn't continue.
Right.
So when I was exposed to this issue at the border, I knew immediately that I wanted to do it as a nonprofit and I wanted it to be a formal project that would hopefully outlive me. This is uh, created Yes We Can to help, but I know that hopefully other people will be able to take it on and grow it and for it to be here for a long time. So that was the transition. I love acting, and it's definitely something that I want to go back to and dedicate more time to. And I think that it's just everything has happened the way that it should have happened, because now I'm coming back to the industry a different person. I'm coming back as somebody who knows the value of impact and also storytelling. And I feel that this time that I'm going into is where the two marry. So I'm excited, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. When you said that you hope the organization outlives you, like, what are your plans for that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm the co-founder,
Right.
and I've been the executive director of our nonprofit for the past 6 years, and it's a role that I stumbled upon. It's not something I set out to do, but I hope that someone else is able to come and be the executive director, and that I can stay on as a board member and also, have creative input of the direction of the organization. But I know that there are people better equipped to
Mhm.
serve that role. And I hope that eventually we're able to be in a position where we can have a full-time team that can take it on and continue that path that we started. Because yeah, I definitely want to continue to pursue entertainment. So it's hard to do two full-time jobs
Right,
at the same time.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you know, a big part of Stories Without Borders is using the power of storytelling to cultivate compassion and understanding among everybody. And even though people can have very different life experiences and opinions, I believe that as humans, when we listen to each other's stories and we actually sit down with an open mind and try to understand the other side, we grow, and it lets us connect with people on an individual level. And this counteracts a lot, I think, if not all, of the stereotypical and negatively charged, politically charged information that people absorb, um, especially through social media. And I feel like your organization, Yes We Can, has really amplified that value so much. And so I'm wondering, how have you utilized your talents as a storyteller, and how have you applied them to activism?
Thank you. That's a really interesting question. So I think what set us apart from the beginning is that I am a person who experienced this.
Hmm.
I personally understand what it's like for your life to be uprooted and for you to go from being, like having your own room and being in a two-bedroom house to then sleeping in a one-bedroom with your five family members on mattresses on the ground, because
Hmm.
that's all you have when you move to a new country in the way that we did. So I understand that this is a moment in time. When we started Yes We Can, I was very aware that I didn't want to put out pictures of the kids in distressful situations. I didn't want to showcase them with, you know, in a room overcrowded with broken
Right.
shoes in the nonprofit industry. It's called uh, pity campaigns or poor
Oh, yeah,
campaigns,
yeah.
where you see photos that expose the person to generate pity, right? And I was very aware of that. So it's something that we didn't want to do. That's why, Yes We Can, we have colorful t-shirts, and we usually only post pictures of things that the kids are doing that is successful or happiness. And it's not that we're hiding the fact that they're going through a really stressful situation. It's the fact that we understand the value of what a picture can do. And I never want the kids in our program to look back at this time of their life and feel ashamed and
Right.
feel that they were, to a certain extent, exploited to move a cause.
Yeah.
So that's the power of storytelling, being aware of what you're putting out as a creator and what you're putting out, what the messaging is. Because sure, something might get you to your goal faster, but you can do the same with a different perspective. So my background in entertainment has definitely guided the way that we have put out content with Yes We Can.
That's great, because I feel like a lot of times, and I agree with you, that this pity generating images can be really, really detrimental, not only to the kids, but it can add this sort of stigma around the topic of migration, because you've created this space where these kids can explore and be in school and have fun and just be kids, even in the midst of this extremely stressful situation.
Yeah, and something that's really important to us is that this is what I hope that people understand, that that photo you're taking of a person or that video that you're taking of a person is capturing a really crucial moment in their life.
Yeah.
And it's going to exist forever. The kids are going to grow up, the families are going to move on, they're going to go on to have a different life, but that reference will always be there. So what do you want that reference to be? Do you want it to be positive, or if it needs to communicate a really distressful situation, can it be done in an ethical way in which the family is on board to do that? Because sometimes these subjects are being photographed and they don't even know what the photo is for, and it ends up becoming a viral moment. And then years later, which has happened already, the people in the photo are saying, I didn't know that that's what the photo was going to be used for. So I always think it's really important as having some entertainment understanding, to talk to the families and ask them, like, are you okay doing this? So that's why, like, all the children, and as you guys know, when you visit us, we always ask for permission of the
Hmm.
parents, and whoever is not able to be featured, we usually
Have
put a
the
wristband
wristband.
or ask them to step to the side, or we put emojis on their faces. So that's something I really feel strongly about. Thank you
Yeah,
for asking.
of course. I mean, because it's so important, especially because these people, these migrant children, they're humans too. I feel like it can be so easy to forget that, especially if we're only seeing pictures of them on screen, if we're only seeing these moments of distress that they're in. But just, I feel like, again, they're people at the end of the day, and they deserve to have their wishes respected.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really important. And I hope that whoever goes into impact and storytelling, as you're doing, is able to keep that in the back of their minds, that, at the end of the day, these are human beings and that their story is very complex. And this is just a piece of it, an important piece of it, but not all of it.
It's so easy to just narrow in on one part and say this is their entire identity,
Right.
but it's not. They are storytellers, they are coders, they are artists, they are so much more than this one moment.
Absolutely.
I know that Yes We Can has started doing some work related to narrative change and focusing on narrative change. What would you like to say about the importance of using storytelling to nurture positive narratives about communities that are misrepresented in the media? And I know we sort of got into this a little bit, but I want to give you this space to sort of just really talk about this.
Of course. Yeah, narrative drives culture and drives sometimes education and
Mhm.
decisions, even policy. So being able to put out media that is representative of who people really are, and
Mhm.
also passing the mic on to those people and not producing things that don't include the people that you're trying to uplift,
Yeah.
is definitely, what we're trying to combat. So our Yes We Can mission has expanded, and our narrative change pillar now is going to be just that, a vehicle to promote the stories in the Latino community and the immigrant
Mhm.
community. We have a really exciting campaign coming out with Latino influencers who donated their platforms to be able to share their own stories. And it was a really amazing experience, because these were influencers that chose this platform to be able to share a vulnerable piece of their story. And that's the genesis of it. I want people to be able to be comfortable, to feel safe, and to know that, the Yes We Can narrative change community that we're building is a place where they can share those moments that mean a lot to them, and also to drive conversation. We have some clips that are intended for people that don't agree with immigration. And I believe that when you're building media and when you're putting things out there to the world, it shouldn't be to just keep the conversation with the people that agree with you, because then
Mhm.
you're limiting yourself. We're building conversation to expand beyond us and to actually try to make change in that way.
Yeah, I feel like especially sometimes it's really hard. I mean, it's really hard to want to branch out and listen to different perspectives than yours because you've built this bubble,
Mhm.
but I think it's important to challenge and to have discussions that really provoke, is this right? What is wrong? What is right? And it's just amazing that you've been doing this work.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, if if you talk to somebody that you don't agree with and you
Mhm.
come to a common ground, then that moves us forward more
Yeah.
than if you're just talking to your bestie who's like, "Yes, girl, I agree."
Just your personal hype
Yeah,
woman.
like your
Yeah.
personal hype
And
community.
there's space for that,
Right.
but that's not gonna move us forward. You're gonna stay in the same space, and that's why it's really important to have diverse and varying perspectives on things, because that's what moves us forward. That's what gets us to a better place as a society.
For sure.
I would love to talk about Stories Without Borders and our collaboration because I've had so much fun doing it, and I feel like this is, again, your work, and Yes We Can's work is so, so important, especially now. And I'm so honored that I've been able to amplify that and help out in ways that I can. So I'm just going to give a little bit of context for the
Yes,
listeners.
please.
So during the school year, when I was in eighth grade, my friends and I read a wonderful book called The Barefoot Dreams of Petra Luna by Alda P. Dobbs, who we actually interviewed on this podcast, which was incredible. The premise of the book is it's about a girl named Petra, and she flees her small town in Mexico because of the Mexican Revolution. And the story is about her journey, and it really focuses on her love of learning and her just wish to learn how to read, how to write. She wants to go to school, and that was something that was really touching to me. And so I started doing some research about this topic because Petra's story was so heartwarming, and it just her just palpable love of education and desire to learn was something that I could relate to. And so I decided to do some research about just how is education approached with migrant and refugee children. At that time, there was a lot of stuff in the news about immigration. So I started doing research on topics that the book covered, like educational disparities. And that's how I stumbled across the Yes We Can organization and just the work that you were doing, the bus renovations for the mobile schools, just providing the safe space and quality bilingual education. It was just so touching to see, and it was so, I want to say, relieving to see, yes, there's being work done. There are people out there who are trying to make better space for these children. So I wanted to help. So I got a bunch of friends that were former and current classmates, and we started doing a bunch of awareness raising activities. We did school supply drives for Yes We Can. We did assemblies focused on the issues. Like we had, I think you came to a couple of the assemblies, which was awesome. I loved being able to introduce you, and I love that you were able to share your story with a bunch of my classmates because I think, again, it's really important that people hear these stories. And we also did a bunch of fundraising. We did bake sales and we started up a GoFundMe. And then this all culminated in our very first service trip with 40 plus volunteers. I mean, I still can't believe it was like 40. Um, and we all went down to Tijuana to spend a day in community and service with the children. We did a bunch of educational activities such as poetry writing, coding, sing-alongs, read-alouds with the kids, which is so much fun. And I got to know some of the kids on a personal level, which is incredible. And I feel like that's something you don't really see or you don't really get to see when you're just, donating or when you're just throwing a backpack into a school supply bin. But I just feel so blessed and honored to be able to have this opportunity. It's really easy to forget that these kids are just kids, just like me, just like any other American kid. They just happen to be thrown in this awful circumstance. And at the end of the day, we had an awesome celebration for all the kids who had spring and summer birthdays, which was so much fun. And we got to sing Las Mañanitas. It was really nice to be able to just have fun with the kids instead of being in a learning environment, which is something, again, I really appreciate about Yes We Can because they really balance learning and fun. They make learning fun, but they also leave room for just fun stuff in general. And you were so, so supportive of us, even though we were just, a bunch of teens basically just like, we want to do this. We want to go to Tijuana and spend time with the kids, which we got a lot of support from Mario, the program director, and he is incredible. And he really knows his stuff, which was great. So far, Stories That Borders has done 3 trips down to Tijuana, and we plan on doing one every year. And we're just so grateful to be able to have this space and have this opportunity to be able to do this. I remember when I first reached out to you and we were on that Zoom meeting, it was a lot of fun to be able to talk to you, get to know you and your organization. I was really thankful that you were really supportive of Stories That Borders because at that time, Stories That Borders was really just beginning to start. And I want to know, what was your experience during our collaboration? What did you think when we reached out to you? And what have been things that like you learned along the way during our collaboration?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so happy that you got to experience and to go meet the kids because you're right, the one-on-one interaction with the kids and seeing the situation firsthand
Mhm.
is unlike anything. I was really supportive of you guys because I started Yes We Can just out of an idea and wanting to help. And I had a lot of people along the way also believe in me, and I didn't know what I was doing. We literally watched a YouTube video to file our legal paperwork, and we watched YouTube videos to build the buses. So, we even had Mike, who was the person who sold us the first bus, become our unofficial mentor because he could clearly tell that we didn't know what we were doing. And I just think that there's along the way that, people will support you when there's a genuine want to help and to do it
Right.
for the right reasons. And yeah, I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are teenagers. At your age, I was definitely not thinking about
Oh,
this. And the fact that you are so interested in helping other people and creating impact, I think is extraordinary. I hope that many more teens are able to watch you guys and to get involved. And also, aside from it forming as a group, the leadership behind it, which is mostly, the core team that you guys have and you being, the one that's like bringing them together. It's really exciting to watch that as well because, like I said, I hope that our foundation continues on beyond us.
right.
And I feel that watching you guys gives me hope that there's a generation interested in these type of topics and that you guys will be able to take on the torch with your own projects. And also, yeah, it was really exciting when you guys said that you were forming this and that you were starting your own nonprofit and that, you have all these ideas. And it just reminded me a lot of myself that I just, I have all these ideas of things I want to do and I don't really know how to do them, but I know that we'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
So I really just felt that you guys had that energy and you still do and you're growing. Like this is clearly a big moment for you as well, creating this podcast. So I'm really excited to watch you guys grow. And yeah, it'll be awesome to, I think I met you at 13, I guess
Yeah, I
now.
think 13.
So it'd be really wild to just when you become an adult and continue on with your journey to see where all these leads to.
Thank you so much. That really means so much to me, and I'm really grateful that you have so much just compassion and that you believe in us, because I find a lot of times it's hard for adults to believe in teenagers especially, but young people in general, and it's really just affirming that there's someone out there that's like, you guys can do this. I see you. I see myself in you, and you guys are going to do amazing things. I feel like that's really empowering. I'd love to ask a few more questions about your day-to-day work as an activist and as an advocate, and as well as your vision for the future. Why don't we start off with, what is the general daily schedule for the students that you serve?
Yeah, so our school programs are full-time programs, which means that our kids are in school Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We work the entire year. We don't take summers off and we don't take holidays off besides, official Christmas
Right.
holidays. And the reason we designed it that way is because migrant children don't have the privilege to enter a regular school year. So anytime that a kid arrives at one of our partner shelters within 24 to 48 hours, they're able to be enrolled in our program. And we designed it that way so it's accessible right away. And yeah, the day-to-day activities, as an executive director, I handle a lot of the administrative work for the nonprofit. Also, I do a lot volunteer management, social
Right.
media, fundraising. Now with this media effort that we're doing, producing, and just wearing a lot of hats because we are such a tiny team.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think the impact that we're creating is just it sometimes it surprises me honestly because we stretch the money that we get so far. Like I'm literally the type of person that's at Walmart with a scanner checking what the prices are of each single item
That's so
and trying to
fair. I
maximize. So, yeah, it's been an incredible adventure for sure.
I feel like we've sort of covered this, but how does the organization accommodate each shelter's needs? How do you deal with the different challenges that every new shelter presents?
Yeah, so usually we meet with the shelter director, and either they reach out to us or we reach out to them, and we have an initial meeting where they share what the challenges are. So, for example, the first place that we started at, Letty, the director, she had been wanting to have a school program for a long time, but she didn't have any resources. So, when we got there, it was literally perfect timing that she needed that program and that we were there to provide it. So we that location we've been at since day one, 6 years ongoing, and other shelters, for example, the newest location that we have, the reason that we stepped in is because unfortunately, with everything that's going on at this time politically, a lot of nonprofits pulled out. And the director reached out to us and said, "Hey, I don't have anybody directing our education program. Can you guys step in?" And we were able to, with the support of donors and very generous donors that wanted to support this. So we stepped in, and in that shelter, we're basically doing the education program for the shelter, but also overseeing all the smaller programs that come in and all the volunteers that come in. So it's a bit of a different role, but it's really all designed by the director's needs. Even starting the nonprofit, and it's something that I like to share with everyone, that my belief about nonprofit work is that you should always ask the people that need help what it is that they need, and not create programs that you feel are going to help them. It should be the other way around. Have that initial conversation and ask, what do you guys need help with, and accommodate the impact that you're able to make to serve that, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, 100%. And how do you hope to expand Yes We Can in the future?
Well, we're expanding right now. We're
Yes,
growing.
that's awesome.
Thank you. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. So yeah, we started Yes We Can with a single focus on education, and now we're expanding it to include cultural programs, which they're gonna be clubs, school clubs. And the second way that we're expanding is by doing the narrative change.
Mhm.
So I feel that going into year six, the first 5 years, we figured out what we were doing, the mission, how things work. And now the next 5 years of the foundation, I think that these two pillars are going to take us in a different direction. And I'm not sure where, the future years, like we definitely want to have a headquarters in Los Angeles, and we want to build out a space where it can function as a volunteer center, a supply drives area, and also have like our studio there. So there's a lot of ambitious goals,
Mhm.
and I hope that uh, you know, I'll definitely be part of that growth. But I'm also really, really excited to build a team that can support us.
That's incredible. And what do you hope that people learn slash take away from your work as an activist, both those you directly serve and just the general public?
I think the biggest advice I would give anybody that's interested in helping, especially during these really difficult times where we at home are watching horrendous things on the
Right.
news and social media, is that it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, that literally every person can make a difference. And I've lived it. I was just a volunteer who went down to help and donate a piece of clothing, a few clothes, and that spurred me founding a nonprofit. So if I didn't have that experience and that exposure, maybe this would have never happened. I don't know. So I always share with anyone, if you feel like you want to help, just do it. You'll figure it out along the way, and yeah, you'll find people that align with you. You'll find people that want to support you. But you'll never know unless you start.
That is so meaningful. And I feel like it will resonate with a lot of people just because of everything. And just thank you so much. And I'd love to do some fun lightning round
Let's do
questions just at the
it.
very end. I love doing them. So the format for these is quick question, quick answer. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right. Three, two, one. What is your love language?
Honestly, helping people.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like that's definitely one of mine. I feel like I have all five. I know that there's like five official love languages, but every time I read them, I go, "Oh, that I do that." What do you say when you pick up or answer the phone?
I usually say hello, or if it's my family, like just like hola papi or hola mami.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, kind of
yeah.
basic.
I mean, I do that too. I say hello, and then with my family, I'm like, "Hi, mom. Hi, dad. Hi, Alice."
Something that surprises me is the amount of FaceTime. Like that's increased a lot. Especially, I have a niece who's 9. Her name is Camila, and she learned how to use the iPad. So she'll randomly FaceTime me. I'm like, Camila, I'm working. Like, I'll call you back. So I think that's the different thing now.
What movie has made you cry?
Oh my gosh, all of them. But I watched Titanic like endlessly. So I've cried a lot to that.
Oh, I bet.
Anything that has to do with dogs
Oh
make
my
me
gosh.
cry.
I think I've only cried. There was a Sumi Kogarashi movie, which is like a Japanese cartoons part of Sanrio, I think, and they had a movie a couple years ago, and it was about different fairy tales, and I just remember like internally crying, and I think I cry when I think about it. And then I also cried, I think, during Inside Out too. I was just like, this is so
I love Inside
relatable.
Out. Yes.
Yeah. What is your dream vacation destination?
One of them, it's coming up. It's Thailand. I'm obsessed with
Ooh.
animals,
Oh
and I
yeah.
love animal sanctuaries. So I'm really excited. I'm going to this elephant hotel where they like come to
Oh
you.
my gosh.
And I'm super, super excited about that. And then eventually, a dream vacation would be like an African safari. I love animals. That's if I was in an immigration, I would totally be doing animal conservation.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
animals are so cool, especially I think the exotic animals, especially the ones in Thailand and Africa. Movies or TV shows?
I would say prior to streaming services, movies, but now TV shows. The content has been really elevated. So I enjoy both.
Yeah, I enjoy both too, but I think I usually gravitate towards movies, but I would like to start watching more TV shows. What is your favorite arts and crafts project?
I do like to do scrapbooks.
Oh,
Like I love
cool.
photos and I love memories and I love little pieces of whatever. Like I know on TikTok people do the really big scrapbooks.
Oh,
I
I've
haven't
seen
started
those.
one yet, but people save like a ticket that they used to ride a bus somewhere or a concert ticket and they make really elaborate things. That's on my to-do list. But
Yes,
yeah. What
I
about
would
you?
I like scrapbooking. I would like to get into scrapbooking. My friend made me not made me, but she gave me this little plastic container and I started a trinket box. I've been slowly adding things, which I like painting a lot. I like doodling and drawing. I don't know if that's arts. Yeah, that is arts and
Yeah, it's
crafts.
art, yeah.
Cupcakes or donuts?
Donuts.
Really? I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to go with cupcakes.
yeah.
If you could only eat one food again for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I know this question because I've like said it a few times in my life. I am obsessed with pasta.
Ooh, pasta
So
is really
anything
good.
Italian, I would have it. If I could, I would have it for every meal. I
Oh,
love pasta.
pasta is delicious. For me, I would have to say the Taiwanese bento boxes
Mm.
because they have everything. They have the rice, which is a staple. I love rice. You can never go wrong with rice. They have vegetables and protein, so it's like you get a well-balanced meal and it's if you have it every day,
And they're
you're
beautiful too. The presentation. I'm a
Yes.
big aesthetic person,
Yeah,
so
100%.
yes.
Yeah. What is your favorite play or musical?
I recently watched what do you say watch? I attended.
I don't
I
know,
don't know
just
what to
whatever.
say. Moulin Rouge on Broadway.
Ooh,
It
Moulin
was
Rouge.
beautiful. The production was incredible. The acting, the music. It's a little bit of a, I would say maybe more adult play. Um, but it was great. What about you?
Right now, I'm really into Suffs. It's about the suffragist movement in the United States, and it's beautifully done. The music is incredible. It's really just it gets you emotional and choked up. There's a death in the middle of the play, and it just gets you
Oh
the waterworks
no.
going.
I'm a big crybaby, so I would probably cry too.
Yeah. So the last question, we're going to go a little deep. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my gosh. The advice I would give to my younger self is to be patient. I feel that I'm a very fast going person and I want things to be happening really fast because in my head they've already happened. But I think learning to be patient would be a big one for me.
So normally before we wrap up, I ask my guests if there's a specific organization that they want to highlight. And obviously we're here talking about your amazing organization. Yes, we can. So today I want to ask you, what can our listeners do to support Yes We Can and just the work that your organization is doing?
I think anyone that's interested in supporting can definitely reach out to us. Our website is yeswecan.world. So we have social media, which is at yeswecanwf. We're always fundraising funds to be able to continue to do the work that we're doing. So donating is always great, but also volunteering. So yeah, they can just follow us, get in touch with us, and continue to amplify the mission. Thank you so much, Hollyn, for having me. This
Yeah,
has
of
been so
course.
fun.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you, and it's just really exciting to just see the growth, also see you open up in this way and host these important conversations that again at your age I was not thinking about. So the fact that you're doing this and inspiring other students to get involved, it's really mind-blowing to me. So
Thank
congratulations.
you so much. And I really appreciate you coming onto this podcast. Being able to talk to you is such an honor. Thanks for listening to Stories Without Borders, the podcast. Please rate and review the show on your favorite podcast platform. You can learn more online at storieswithoutborders.org or follow us on Instagram at stories_without borders. See you all next time.